This tutorial will show you how to crochet an itty-bitty hanging agave plant. This is an intermediate level pattern. The abbreviations and skills that you must be comfortable with are listed here. The materials needed for this pattern are listed here. I will be using a 5mm hook and super bulky 6-weight yarn in this video. If the same materials are used, the approximate dimensions of the plant will be 10 centimeters wide by 7 centimeters high. Some other notes and tips. Again, this is an intermediate crochet pattern that requires working in continuous rounds. Do not slip stitch and chain one at the end of each round unless otherwise stated. This pattern is considered no-sew, but you will need a darning needle to weave in your yarn ends. Stitch counts for each round will be indicated in square brackets. Repeat stitches indicated in brackets X times. Stitch markers will be used to mark the front loops only and back loops only. Stitch markers are also handy for marking the beginning of each round, as shown in this video. Knitting needles or pins can also be useful in the placement and arrangement of parts. Starting in your pot color, make a magic ring and complete 8 single crochet. Please note, this video shows each round in full in real time. If you would like to skip ahead, use the chapters in the progress bar. In round 2, increase in every stitch around. For round 3, single crochet in the first stitch, then increase in the next stitch. Repeat this sequence around 8 times in total. In round 4, work in the back loops only and single crochet around. Now continue crocheting in both loops. For rounds 5 to 8, single crochet around. Pause the video here to crochet rounds 5 to 8. The video will skip ahead shortly. After finishing the last stitch of round 8, mark the first back loop of round 8 with a stitch marker for the dirt later. We will now begin working the curved edge of the pot. Rounds 9A to 10A indicate rounds worked for the pot. For round 9A, work in the front loops only and single crochet in every stitch around. Continue crocheting in both loops. In round 10A, chain 1. Skip the chain 1 and begin to reverse single crochet around. Insert your hook into the last stitch of the previous round. Yarn over and pull through. Repeat this same process in the next stitch. After the last reverse single crochet, turn the pot so that the inside is facing you. Slip stitch and finish off. Cut the yarn, leaving a small tail. Fold down the edge to expose the back loops from round 8. This forms the edge of the pot. Weave the tail into the pot. Insert safety eyes between rounds 6 and 7, 3 visible stitches apart. Make sure the end of round 10A and the stitch marker for the first back loop of round 8 are at the back. We will now be crocheting the dirt directly onto the pot. Rounds 9B to 11B indicate rounds worked for the dirt. Attach your yarn for the dirt to the marked stitch or the first back loop of round 8. For round 9B, single crochet in all of the remaining back loops from round 8. This step is not necessary, but you may want to tie the end tail from the pot with the tail from the dirt to ensure that everything is secure. Continuing with the dirt, in round 10B, decrease in every stitch around. You may notice that the edge of the pot may be a bit long or cover the eyes. Don't be concerned, as the edge tends to shrink once the pot is stuffed. Mark the first front loop of round 10B with a stitch marker for the leaves later. Begin stuffing. Stuff firmly as you go. Spread the stuffing evenly to make sure the bottom of the pot is flat and the sides are even all the way around. In round 11B, work in the back loops only. Decrease in every stitch around. At the end of round 11B, you should have 6 stitches remaining. Leave a tail and cut the yarn. Finish stuffing. Be careful not to overstuff, as the dirt should be flat on top of the pot. Mark the first front loop of round 11B and the last front loop of round 11B with stitch markers for the leaves later. Use a needle to weave the tail through the back loops of the last 6 stitches of round 11B. It is very important that you're using the back loops. Pull tight to close. Weave in the tail through the center of the dirt. You do not want to weave in the end through or near any of the front loops, as you'll be working in the front loops to make the leaves later. There are 18 front loops in total that form a spiral on top of the dirt. Starting in the middle of the dirt and spiraling outwards, the 1st, 6th, and 18th front loops should be marked with a stitch marker. These front loops will be referred to by these numbers when working the plant leaves. If you would like your plant to be hung, complete the following steps. If not, skip this section. Determine where you want to connect the hanger to the pot and dirt. I find that the plant hangs best when the hanger is attached on opposite sides of the pot and dirt around round 9B, that is, on top of the pot where the pot and dirt colors meet, with the eyes centered and facing forward. Mark where you would like to attach the hanger on the pot and dirt with stitch markers or pins. Make a slip knot with the short tail. Insert your hook into the first mark for the hanger and slip stitch. Chain 40. If you would like your hanger to be longer or shorter, add or remove chains. Insert your hook into the second mark for the hanger and slip stitch. Finish off and leave a short tail. I like to tie a knot with the beginning and end short tails of the hanger to make sure everything is secure before weaving in the ends. The pot, dirt, and hanger are complete. Let's move on to the leaves. Make a slip knot and leave a short tail. Slip stitch into the first front loop in the middle of the dirt. We will start our first leaf. Chain 5. Starting in the second chain from the hook, 4 half double crochet down the chain. This is the first leaf. Starting in the next or second front loop, repeat slip stitch, chain 5, 4 half double crochet down the chain starting in the second chain from the hook. You will repeat this sequence in the next 16 front loops for 17 leaves in total. There should be 17 leaves in total. However, it is easy to miss a front loop. The exact number of leaves is not important. Slip stitch in the 18th or the last front loop. Finish off and leave a short tail. Weave in the end. Weave in the starting short tail through the center of the dirt. This will cover any gaps where the dirt may be showing. This step is not necessary, but I like to tie the ends from the leaves together to make sure that everything is secure. Embroider a smile between the eyes using worsted weight yarn. Add blush under the eyes for extra cuteness. Arrange the leaves as necessary with the hanger so that the plant looks balanced and hangs properly. And your itty bitty hanging agave plant is finished. I hope you enjoyed this pattern. For more plants or to purchase the full PDF pattern, please visit my Instagram @Minnie's Crochet Friends.